Now on CoastTV News.
Sandbags in place on the boardwalk in Ocean City as people in town look ahead. Shoreline cameras, the technology for studying and improving Delaware's beaches during storms. First responders surrounding a frozen pond. What happened here in Milton and what firefighters are reminding the public.
And a strengthening coastal low off the North Carolina coast, dumping heavy snow there, trying to move it north, but this is moving out to sea. It'll clip us with a little bit of snow and some coastal impacts on Sunday. Details coming up.
This is CoastTV News at 6.
Barriers on the beach. Good evening, I'm Emma Aiken. Welcome to CoastTV News at 6. We begin tonight with the continuing cold and the expected effects of a coastal storm. You're looking at the calm before the storm in Ocean City today, an empty boardwalk by the beaches as frigid temperatures continue on the coast. A couple of businesses on the beach have placed sandbags at their storefronts and barriers line beach access points in some spots. CoastTV spoke with people on the boardwalk who shared their thoughts ahead of the storm.
I would say with high tide, there's always the concern that the water's obviously going to come up much further and drag sand out with it. Also, it'll put a lot of ice on the beach.
No real concerns. For me, it would mostly be just the cold temperatures we've been having.
More sand could land on the boardwalk as wind speeds are only expected to get higher after today. As you saw there, Ocean City is under a winter weather advisory. The town is reminding people to stock up on emergency supplies, charging devices, and prepare cars. During the storm, the town says to avoid driving if possible, monitor official updates, and use heating equipment safely. After the storm, keep an eye out for icy conditions, downed power lines, and check on neighbors who may need help. And we're now taking a live look into Milford. Our First Alert meteorologist Bob Tryheath joins us now. Bob, looks like we can put the snow shovels away, but maybe some other effects to worry about.
And boy, Emma, we are lucking out. We don't need the snow shovels for this one. Had this storm come right up the coast, we'd be buried in snow, but it's tracking out to sea, already spreading a lot of snow across the Carolinas, trying to spread it farther north. Maybe some flurries, southern tip of Delmarva, seeing some snow showers offshore, but it's battling a lot of dry air. Here's the heavy snow, eastern North Carolina and back into western North Carolina. Here they could get 8 to 12 inches of snow. Winter weather advisory back through Wycomico and Worcester counties through this evening. Maybe a coating of snow with a winter storm warning farther south. Now the cold weather is a big story too. Cold weather advisory all across the area. This continues tonight into tomorrow morning. Look at these temperatures in the low 20s, 20 in Georgetown, 20 in Millsboro right now. And the wind starting to pick up out of the north and northeast. So those feels like temperatures down to 9 in Lewis, 9 in Georgetown, feels like 11 in Bethany Beach. So that's the bigger story, is the cold as we go into this evening. As we have the clouds, you can see no snow on Futurecast here, just breezy and cold. Temperatures falling back into the teens and maybe some breaks in the overcast overnight. And look at this, by 7 a.m. we're down to 12 in Millsboro, 12 in Delmar, 15 in Bethany Beach, as it is still brutally cold into the upper teens tomorrow morning and wind chills near zero, if not below. I'll have more on the storm, the cold, and the coastal impacts coming our way Sunday in my forecast a little bit later on.
A University of Delaware pilot program is using shoreline cameras like this to study how wind, waves, and storms affect Delaware beaches, helping guide future beach replenishment efforts. The cameras take still pictures every 30 minutes to document tides and storm impacts, providing data to better understand coastal vulnerabilities and sand movement. The project includes 10 cameras, one in Lewis.
Each storm has its own character, but each beach site has its own character and influences on how the waves come into the beach and interact with it. So this will allow us to better understand more holistically what is happening with sand transport and where it might be useful for investment in long-term monitoring using cameras.
This is a pilot program scheduled to end April 30th, but Mathis said they hope to continue past that date. Be sure to download the CoastTV app for your phone and tablet. We've been using it for special coverage all this past week and this weekend, but all of our news is always on this. In case you didn't know, you can also get the CoastTV streaming app for your TV with devices like Roku, Fire TV, and Apple TV. Well, the frigid temperatures didn't stop dedicated volunteers from hitting the elements. These conditions made for great ice rescue training. You can see it here. This took place at Lakeview Estates, and crews from Millsboro and Rehoboth Fire were there. While it may look fun, officials are reminding everyone to leave going on the ice to the professionals, noting that ice skating can be dangerous. If you were in Milton this afternoon, you may have seen this, a large fire response presence around Wagaman's Pond. There was a report of someone falling through ice, but Milton Fire Department confirmed to us that it was a false alarm. Good news there. DelDOT is reminding people to be aware of suspicious texts. The agency saying DMV and EasyPass will never contact you by text for a payment. To report a suspicious text, DelDOT says go to the FBI's Internet Crime Complaint Center website. A reminder that the polar bear plunge in Rehoboth, benefiting Special Olympics, has been postponed. The nonprofit says with severe weather conditions on the way, February 27th to March 1st have been named as makeup dates. The 2026 Fire and Ice Festival that was also supposed to be this weekend has been postponed too. Organized by the Bethany Fenwick Chamber of Commerce, Fire and Ice will now be February 6th to 8th with hopefully better weather. If you haven't been, it's a great event. Ice sculptures and multiple events in multiple towns in the Bethany area. It is just happening a week later now. And we are just getting started here on Coast TV News at 6. Coming up later, healthcare costs, what new data shows many Americans are worried about.
Not seeing snow in Delaware, but it's getting heavy down near Norfolk into eastern North Carolina as low pressure tracks out to sea, maybe clipping us with a little bit of snow, some coastal impacts, but still a lot of cold. I'll have more on this active winter pattern coming up.
Power problems, how to protect your home and your wallet as temperatures stay freezing. That's up next. We'll be right back.
This is Coast TV News at 6.
During this extreme cold, everyone wants to stay warm, but using more energy means higher power bills. We spoke with 2 electric companies who say it takes much more energy to warm a house in these conditions, and so small measures you take in your home can help better the entire power grid. Delaware Electric Cooperative says it's always better to be over-prepared. That means having an emergency kit, including medications you may need, or even things like pet food, plus an emergency plan with friends and family. If you are worried about higher than usual energy bills, Delaware Municipal Electric Corporation says conservation is key.
We need lower usage, but this time it's going to be usually between the hours of 6 and 9 a.m. because of how cold it gets overnight. So during the summer, it's pretty much after work, but in the wintertime, it's in the morning when everyone's HVAC units are turning on.
Treacherous road conditions, the bomb cyclone slamming the southeast with wind and snow. And coming up next, Bob Trihey is in the Coast TV First Alert Weather Center tracking the coastal storm that will only bring some coastal impacts, not much snow. He has your full forecast after this.
It was another brutally cold day for Delmarva. Temperatures barely getting above that 20-degree mark. In fact, not even making it in Easton. 21 in Georgetown, 23 in Ocean City, 21 in Salisbury. We should be into the mid-40s this time of year. But let's focus on the big coastal storm now, really strengthening across the North Carolina coast. And you've been hearing about things bombing out. It's called a bomb cyclone. Yes, if it drops more than 24 millibars in 24 hours, it is a powerful storm. It'll really get powerful as it moves out to sea, thankfully not coming up the coast. It's trying to push snow our way, but it's running into a lot of dry air. We're just cloudy across Sussex County and Delaware, and maybe some flurries trying to get into the southern tip of Delmarva with some heavier snow offshore. But the real heavy snow is back through Hampton Roads, the eastern part of North Carolina, towards the Outer Banks, and then back to the west with an upper level low across the mountains of western North Carolina, even into the upstate of South Carolina. These areas could see 8 to 12 12 inches of snow. And once that upper level low catches up to the surface low offshore, this thing will explode, thankfully moving to our south. But we do have a winter weather advisory for Accomack and Worcester counties from Ocean City Point south. We could see a coating of snow. I don't think it's going to be a big deal, and maybe a couple of inches of snow with a winter storm warning in Northampton County. It's from the Hampton Roads area into the Carolinas. This is the bullseye of the heavy snow where they have a winter storm warning. They're going to see about 8 to 12 inches of snow where they usually don't see a lot of snow. Temperatures now are cold, 22 in Milton, 20 in Georgetown and Gumboro, 23 in Ocean Pines, feeling like 9 in Georgetown and Lewis, and 11 with the wind. And it's going to get windy tonight, and it's going to feel like below zero as we go into Sunday morning with very windy conditions as that area of low pressure departs. By the afternoon, feeling like single digits and feeling like around zero Monday morning, a little better into Monday afternoon, but we still have a high risk of frostbite into tomorrow morning and Monday morning. Not as bad into Wednesday, but then cold again as we go into Thursday as we're tracking our huge storm that's just clipping us with some snow to the south. Look how close that snow is on that northwest side, and then it's moving out to sea as we go into tomorrow. Here's a closer look, trying to bring that snow up into Worcester County, maybe around Chincoteague towards Ocean City tonight, and then it's just cloudy as we go into tomorrow. Here's our in-house model. You can see no snow in Delaware, much of Delmarva, and then this model brings that snow close to Chincoteague and then points south, and then it's moving offshore even after midnight as the storm starts to pull away, and I think we'll see some breaks in the overcast tomorrow. Maybe some snowflakes in Delaware, maybe a coating from Highway 9 and points south, and maybe an inch or 2 or 3 across the southern part of the peninsula. But it's a strong winds tomorrow. It could cause a little coastal flooding. Wind gusts over 40 miles per hour, especially in the morning hours, where seas could be around 8 to 12 feet. And that could cause some inundation at the coast, maybe up to about a half a foot, with a coastal flood advisory for the Delaware coast and then back into the Maryland coast as well. 13 tonight, maybe some light snow and flurries, especially south, but feeling like sub-zero. 26 tomorrow, cold and windy, feeling like single digits. It's Groundhog Day on Monday, 33 above freezing. Finally, 38 Tuesday, maybe a little bit of rain and snow on Wednesday, colder next weekend, and maybe another shot of a little bit of snow. Not a big deal on Saturday.
As Bob talked about there, it looks like we will miss the worst of it here on Delmarva, but the massive winter storm is slamming the southeast. The Carolinas are expecting multiple years worth of snow over the weekend. More than 2,300 flights have been canceled as of this afternoon, according to FlightAware. The heavy snow and fierce winds comes as millions of Americans are dealing with brutally cold temperatures and still digging out from last week's historic winter storm. Jen Sullivan has details on this latest winter blast.
What are we doing? North Carolina being slammed with a monster winter storm.
This one's going to be a big one. I think this is one that we haven't seen since the 1980s.
Greenville's mayor says the eastern part of the state could see up to 14 inches of snow. This system already causing treacherous conditions on the roads. This train colliding with a semi in Gastonia, about 20 miles west of Charlotte. Fortunately, no one was hurt.
I hope everybody stays safe.
More than 27 million people across the Southeast, Mid-Atlantic, and Appalachians are under winter storm warnings. And at least 4 states have declared a state of emergency.
This is crazy.
As this storm strengthens into what's known as a bomb cyclone, it's expected to move north and unleash hurricane-force wind gusts, heavy snow, and dangerous coastal flooding.
The Outer Banks gusting up to 70 miles an hour, so we could see whiteout conditions here.
This comes as much of the country is facing brutally cold temperatures. Check out deserted Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, courtesy of EarthCam. It's so cold there, the city canceled its annual polar plunge event. Even Orlando could see temperatures below freezing. With temps that low, officials at SeaWorld say some of the rides can't operate because the wheels aren't built for this kind of cold.
It actually gets a little tighter when it's cold. It has more friction and slows the vehicle down.
All of this coming as millions are still recovering from last weekend's catastrophic and deadly winter storm. In New York, I'm Jen Sullivan reporting.
A new poll shows the cost of health care is the top economic worry for many Americans. It's a concern for 2/3 of participants in the survey from the health research organization KFF. That number is higher than those for utilities, food and groceries, housing, and gas. The poll shows most adults face higher medical costs and think Congress shouldn't have let expanded Obamacare subsidies expire. We still have more news to get to tonight on Coast TV News at 6. Coming up, Team USA arrival. The Olympic figure skating team greeted in Milan. Team USA has arrived to Italy. This welcome experience in Milan. These are members of the Olympic figure skating team. They arrived to applause and were greeted by messages from friends and family, resulting in lots of smiles. The welcome experience included getting fitted for the opening ceremony and sized up with their podium gear. Team USA in Milan Cortina is made up of more than 230 athletes, which is the largest ever Winter U.S. Olympic team. Don't forget the Winter Olympics run February 6th to the 22nd, only here on Coast TV. Plus, don't forget the Super Bowl airs right here on Coast TV News Sunday, February 8th. Pregame starts at 1, kickoff is at 6:30.
A slight chance of snow this evening for Delaware and Maryland. The farther south you go, you get into the heavier snow down near Norfolk and into the Carolinas as well. Big story is our temperatures dipping into the mid-teens, lower teens as we go into tomorrow morning, and feels like temperatures near zero. Bundle up. Call the Coast TV First Alert weather phone, sponsored by Brockstead Mandalis Federico. Paul Davis 10-day forecast, windy and cold on Sunday. 26, Groundhog Day 33, finally above freezing much of next week. Some rain and snow Wednesday, maybe some snow again Saturday, turning really cold again into next week. But there are signs, Emma, that we could have a bigger warm up in the following week. So maybe the groundhog will see its shadow or not. I don't know.
Bob, that's the good news we need. Thank you for joining us here for Coast TV News at 6. For more news and local weather, download our Coast TV News app. Be sure to join us tonight at 11. Until then, have a great night.